Well, thank you very much. It's great to be with the president of Iraq. And we are obviously working on a lot of things together. We're working on military. We're working on ISIS.
As he just said, this is the president of Iraq. We're seeing a lot of stress. Now, I have not seen him before, so I have no idea what his baseline is. But irregardless, humans do have a tendency to try to be comfortable. He's got his feet planted. He's holding his knee with one hand, and the other hand he is gripping the arm of the chair. His shoulders may be turned towards Trump, but his head is not. He's got a stress smile across his face. He does speak English, so we know he can hear him and understand. So the stress that would be there because he doesn't understand is null and void.
We're working on, we have a whole host of very difficult.
Then we see the American side. We have Mnuchin in the black hair and O'Brien in the white hair. And we're just calling him black hair and white hair because that's all we can see. So black hair, he's got a baseline of making ticks. He gets very stressed when he's in front of the camera, and it seems to follow him. He has gotten better since the beginning, but that is his baseline. He's always stressed. But on top of this, he's also an avoidance of looking at the other side, which is the Iraqi side. Then you've got white hair, who's pulled his legs in close, is covering himself, hands in the lap, in the middle, and he's kind of avoiding them. You see him, he looks and then he doesn't look. It's like, do you see me looking at you? I'm not looking at you. So we're seeing stress, a lot of stress. And then the Iraqi side, the only person we could see is Baldy. And Baldy too is covering himself. His feet are planted. He doesn't have a stress smile. He's got stress frown. As you can see, his lips curved down. So we're in a disgust at the moment.
Things to discuss and some very positive things also. And we've been friends, and the relationship is very good, and I just want to thank you very much, Mr.
President. So he shakes his hand, does not look at him. It's very brief. It's polite, which is always something that you want there, because polite says there's something that can be done to make the relationship better.
Important opportunity to meet President Trump to talk about the developments in our neighborhood.
And then you see that movement. It's very stiff. His head is turned one way, but it swings over towards President Trump to give him look, and then it swings back. And it's very, very stiff. It's because the body isn't singing with this conversation. You also see his grip on that arm has become even stronger. He's wrapped his arm and his hand around the head of it. You'd think he was on a roller coaster and his seatbelt wasn't fastened. And with that in mind, the mentality that he's having is, I'm not happy. I don't want to make this situation worse, but I'm not happy.
These are challenging times, difficult times, and I look for a very fruitful and candid conversation.
And you see how he threw it over to Trump when he picks his arm up? He throws it at him. These are challenging times, and then he comes in to throw it at Trump. So his blame is solely on Trump. I get the impression at this moment that the war of words with Iraq towards the U.S. isn't over. Trump's demeanor, he's in his typical pose of negotiations. So in his mentality, he's trying to de-escalate and patch and build bridges. Irregardless of what got them to this point, which we all know, this is the situation now.
With the president, we have had an enduring relationship, and the United States has been a partner to Iraq, and in the war against ISIS, this mission needs to be accomplished. And I believe you and I share the same mission for a stable, sovereign Iraq.
This guy gives away a lot. I believe we share the same mission, hand and fist. And then once he gets out of it, he opens his hand back up and goes to his knee. So he doesn't believe they have the same mission. It's stressed. And then the hand comes open afterwards.
Iraq that is at peace with itself and at peace with its neighbors.
Right. Thank you very much.
And then you see that final moment, at peace with itself and at peace with his neighbors. Lips come in real tight, jaw sets. Head comes down in a positive motion and a point towards Trump. That is his emphasis. That is the anger. And then we have the straight, stressed smile of getting out of it.
What is the plan for flying out U.S. troops from Iraq?
Well, we're talking about a lot of different things, and you'll be hearing whatever we do, but they like what we're doing, and we like them, and we've had a very good relationship. I can only speak.
So they like what we're doing, we like them, and you don't see a reaction from the president of Iraq. If this was a like situation, if he agreed, you'd see some positive movement, even a look over to distinguish something, but he's trying to hide his true emotions. I would guess, because of what we've seen so far, he doesn't want to show anger. He doesn't want to escalate it, nor does he want to sit there and agree with it to submit. So we have a splitting of the mind. So I'm just going to sit here and be still.
For my administration, I won't speak for past administrations, frankly, but we've had a very...
From my administration. And he sort of throws himself back in the chair, gets further away, holds on to the arm, and is getting away. From my administration, the fingers go up slightly to the face and come right back down. So we see his disagreements there. I have no idea what happened between the administrations, but he's really not happy with this one.
Good relationship. And we're down to a very low number. We're down to 5,000, so we're down to a very low number, historically low, and we'll see what happens.
Are you still considering sanctions against Iraq?
We'll see what happens, because we do have to do things on our terms.
We have a lot of common interests.
So she asked the question about sanctions, and as that camera zooms in more, we can see the heavy breathing from the Iraqi president. Now, the reason most of the time why people have the heavy breathing, because he doesn't look like he's in that bad of shape. He's kind of overweight, but he's not that bad in shape. It's because you have tensed up, your stress is there, your muscles are working. Even though they're not in constant movement, they've been locked down. So they're working. They're getting starved of oxygen. So you're having to breathe in deeper and deeper and deeper to get the oxygen flowing and get back to those muscles that are all tense and stressed. And that is how stressed he is. He has tensed his entire body, and we can see it manifest itself by the way he is breathing. And he has cut off Trump. We have a lot of things to work on.
Fight against extremism, stability in the neighborhood, a sovereign Iraq that is stable, friends of the neighbors, and friends of the United States.
And that's more stress. So you see that fist come back. The stress, the emphasis. This is where it's at. When you look at the conversation and as he talks, when you see that fist, this is where the stress is. This is where the anger is. This is where the heightened emotion is.
And we're also involved with them in their oil business. And
we're also involved with them in their oil business. And you slightly see his face fall, talking about the Iraqi president. It's like, it's been tight-lipped smile, oil business, slight fall. So they're not happy with that either.
That's always been very important from their standpoint and from our standpoint. So we have a lot of very positive things to talk about. But we are down to a low number, and we've been there for quite a while, so we'll make a determination. Thank you.
And then we see the first time of agreement, that positive. It's a one sharp positive. And it doesn't necessarily mean that he agrees with him on the relationship, but he agrees with what is coming out of Trump's mouth. Yes, involved in oil business. Yes, numbers going up. Yes, positive.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
And of course, as it ends, Trump gets tight-lipped. He folds his arms in front of himself. He's stressed because he knows it didn't go great. And the Iraqi president, he starts to relax. The hands come down, the fingers splay open because it's over. They can quit pretending. And Trump is like, I can't quit pretending. It's time to get tough.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be with President Barzani of Kurdistan, and we have a meeting scheduled for a long time. We've wanted to meet. We've worked together very well. As you know, we left Syria from the standpoint of the border, and that's worked out great with Turkey. It's worked out far better than anybody ever thought possible.
Okay, the Kurdistan guy, he just seems like he's a fidget. He's brought his cards out, he looked at him, now he's putting them back, and then it's in, and then it's back, and then it's in. So he's nervous. This isn't necessarily stress. Stress would sit there and be a tightening. This is just nervous. He doesn't know what to do with his nervous energy. Why? I don't know.
They have the so-called safe zone, and I appreciate everything you've done to keep it as safe as possible. But very importantly, as you know,
You see more of the nervous energy. Trump looks over to him to give thank yous and blah, blah, blah. And this guy is having a hard time figuring out where exactly to put his arm on this chair. One, because remember, we want to be comfortable. And two, we don't want to look like a slob.
Have the oil, and we left soldiers for the oil because we took the oil and we're working on that, and we have it very nicely secured. We also have thousands of ISIS prisoners. We've taken over 100% of the caliphate, and it's a very interesting region, but we've had a tremendous relationship, and it's great to be with you. Thank you very much.
President. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Please, would you like to say something?
So with this guy, we're not really seeing that really tight, stressed smile. His body is moving, which means it's not tightened up like we saw the previous guy. He's got nervous energy. which is coming out. He also gives positive head shakes and listens to the conversation that Trump is giving. And he smiles, a genuine smile.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Mr. President, to receive us, in Davos. As you said, we've been quite a long time waiting for that moment.
So he's petting himself, still nervous. And the other part that goes with the emotion to go with that it's not stress, like an angry stress or a disgusted stress, is he's petting himself. He's grabbing his 3 fingers. It's a form of petting, reassurance. But he looks over to Trump and he gives like a slight smile because that's looking for feedback to the person who's making you nervous. And the person who's making you nervous, when they're looking at you and you see them looking for reassurance, and as Trump does, he's smiling like, it's all right, it's all right. Usually that helps people to relax or at least not go even more stressed.
Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your support. So we did defeated ISIS together.
Right.
So, and on behalf of people, in Kurdistan, I would like to express our thanks and gratitude to your leadership and your support. Thank you, sir.
very much.
Thank
Really
you, sir.
great.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it, everybody.
Mr. President.
Still nervous, not as bad. Still had to pet himself. But again, you see the genuine smile that comes out.
If you'd like to learn more about analysing body language, there is a video course available on Mandy's website for Gold subscribers, where Mandy teaches more about her techniques of deception detection. There's also other content such as the Crime series and Interesting Minds series, available to both Gold and Silver subscribers.
If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.